There's still a game to be played tonight. Have you done any of your zoom out thinking and about what the best way to have guys around you on a team is? What stands out the most to you about everything else on the court this year when you guys were out there that didn't go right? Or have you done any of that thinking? And if so, what's at the top of that list?
To be honest, I have not. I haven't thought about anything post season. Like I said, we still had a couple games left when I didn't play, or haven't been playing, and been here cheering on the guys, supporting the guys, try to get wins and closing out the season strong. So I have not had a chance to kind of just reflect on this season and what can help us next year and things like that.
Eddie, with the foot, was surgery ever on the table for you with the strain or any of that stuff? And is there any off-season stuff that you need to get cleaned up or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. Everything was fine. Might end up getting an MRI tomorrow or in the next couple of days to just kind of check on to see the status of it. But surgery was never an option.
Your time with the Lakers coincides with Frank's time with the Lakers, and you guys have been through all sorts of stuff as a team in that time. What's it been like working with him over these past 3 years? What have you thought of how he kind of navigated this season in addition to kind of a big picture sort of way that he's worked with you guys?
I feel like he's kind of, haven't had a chance to, especially the last 2 years, coach his team, with injuries, and not just myself, but just overall. And then, but the first year was great. I mean, we were able to win a championship. He come in a defensive-minded coach and put in schemes that made us the #1 defensive league my first year, and if I'm not mistaken, last year as well.
It was
third first year?
Third the first year, first last
year. Okay, yeah. So top 5 defensively. Last 2 out of 3 years, so it's been good. And then, the tough thing about this year, just haven't been able to, just like last year, haven't had a chance to coach his full team. But Frank is one of the. Only had 3 coaches, but I can't say top 3. I mean, but yeah, right. But he's one of my favorite. I mean. I don't have a good selection of coaches, but out of the head coaches and assistant coaches, that better range. He's one of my favorite. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He goes to war for his players, and he wants to win. So, just unfortunately, he hasn't had a chance to have his team the last couple of years, and especially this year.
AD, we've talked ad nauseum about the fact that you guys haven't had the three of the big three together enough this year. But part of the thinking, as it was explained to us at the time you guys got together, was if you had to miss some time or if LeBron had to miss some time, that having 2 of the big 3 should be enough to get wins. And that ended up not being the case in practicality. I'm wondering why you think that it wasn't enough when you missed time, LeBron and Russ, or when LeBron missed time, Russ and you. Why did that not work out like you guys sort of
I think we was more saying, at least I was more if we had to rest a game or something like that. Not to log enough minutes, together is what hurt us. And we have had some success, with 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. But my thinking was more if, all right, we playing whoever, one of us 3 can rest and the other 2 can pick us up to win a game, will be enough. But I still think that, us being on the floor together to build that chemistry where 2 out of 3 can, win basketball games. It just didn't happen, which is unfortunate because all 3 of us, want to win, and everyone on this team wants to win top to bottom. But it was just tough when, you bring a group of guys in, especially the 3 guys that was kind of the core of this team and wasn't able to log enough minutes to be able to succeed how we wanted to.
Eddie, you and LeBron accomplished the mission coming together to win the championship. in the years that have passed, he's 2 years older. Do you feel that you two can be the basis of a championship team, and what would need to happen in the offseason to surround you two to support that goal?
I think us two can. We've shown that we can. And I don't know, it's something we just have to reevaluate in the offseason. Upstairs, me and him, talking about this season and what we would like to see next season, and just kind of figure it out. Like I said, we don't know what's happening. I mean, the season technically isn't over. And then when it is, guys like to decompress and kind of just take time to think about themselves and look in the mirror and evaluate themselves, and then we come together as a group and figure out what's best for the team to get back to the championship mentality that we had our first year. So that would be a very interesting conversation just from the standpoint of what changed. I mean, obviously injuries, but even when we were healthy, I don't think we were able to reach our full potential for whatever reason. So we just want to figure it out and just get back to that championship pedigree that us as players know we're capable of, and us as an organization.
And you did everything you could to come back from the midfoot sprain. And maybe it's an obvious answer that yes, you still believe when you came back from the midfoot sprain, you guys could make up the ground you needed to make the play-in. But was there a moment in the year where, whether feeling snake bitten or feeling like the team didn't have the right fit, where you're just like, it's not going to work for us?
When we officially got eliminated,
So not
to be honest, because we always felt if we were able to get into the play-in game, then it's playoffs. Like, it's anything happens 7-game series. We really didn't feel like anyone could beat us in a 7-game series, and we really believed that. And so when we wasn't able to get in and got officially eliminated, that's when we knew that this didn't work this year.
Jovan.
AD, I know you said you're going to reflect on kind of the season and moving forward, but you guys had a lot of success this season with you at the 5 and LeBron at the 5, and just some of the most successful stretches of the season. So I'm curious, I guess, with your current perspective, do you think that's something you guys could do more moving forward, or is that more of a function of just the roster construction this year and sort of the pieces around you guys for this particular team?
I think it was a little bit of both. I know we came in with the intention of me playing a 5 a lot this season, which I believe I did. It's games that I did play, and then just going to that small ball with Bron and Melo in that second unit was a very effective for us. So that's how that happened. And it might be something that we look at next year, since it was pretty successful for us, and go from there. But I think, with me being at the 5 and Brian playing the 5, it gives our team a different dynamic than, a traditional big. Just from the standpoint of Bron, he's at the 5, he's setting screens, he's catching in the pocket, playmaker, scorer, like he can do everything. And, you don't really see that, around the league. And so it was good for us. Have him at the 5, and I think Russ was the point guard, and you have 3 other guys, shooters around him, and kind of just had the floor open, and he's good enough where he can make plays out of the pocket. And then same for me as far as being that lob threat, pulling in and having, shooters around, where if you help, then we kick it to our shooters for shots. If not, then it's a layup or a dunk.
AD, obviously some of the things that Russ kind of went through this season were so unique, including, telling us at one time, he had, some issues with people harassing his family, even at home games. I'm wondering, for you and LeBron, do you feel like there was a good amount of communication with Russ to kind of pull him through some of that stuff, or were you, and do you think that maybe some of that stuff that went down this year can be healed with time for him?
As far as the fans, with him and the fans? I don't know. I mean, I think our team just tried to stay in this corner. Like, forget basketball, just, as a brother, when your family's been harassed I think he said he was getting like death threats or some stuff like that. Playing with his family name, like all that stuff is serious, and you take it personal. So we just try to be in his corner as much as possible. As far as it being healed, I don't know. That's something he'll know. I mean, I guess he would forget the fans, and the fans like, oh, it was just this year. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but it's been 3 years for me, 3 seasons for me leaving New Orleans, and I still get booed when I go there. So I'm not sure. I mean, it is his hometown. I'm pretty sure people in LA do love him. Obviously, fans, booed our entire team several games. Disappointed about our season, and we're disappointed as well. But I think a lot of blame was put towards Russ for stuff on the court that, Russ isn't a one-man show. He can't beat teams by himself. It's all of us. It's my play, me not being on the floor, Bron's play, him not being on the floor, Malik's play, him, like everybody. Coach, like everybody is part of the blame. And I think a lot of it, was directed at Russ when it wasn't his fault. So I actually saw a little interview he did, I guess, with you guys at home. And somebody probably asked him about him not scoring. He said, I had 23,000 points, something like that. Like, it's a lot of points. And so, like, he does this at a high level. And this year, first year in LA, struggle. Picked it up, I think in the second half of the season where he played phenomenal. Played phenomenal for us. He had some big games for us. But people see things, when Russ was in OKC and DC and how he played, 2 totally different teams, or 3 totally different teams. The Russ, how he was in OKC, averaging triple doubles, getting all like, we necessarily didn't need that, this year. Like, same way he played in DC. Like, Brad was out, so it was on Russ, and they put guys around him. Like, we didn't need that Russ, So everybody, and when I got here, like, I didn't play the same way I played when Bron had to change. Like, everybody had to change. Everybody got to make sacrifices, and it was tough for him to kind of adjust to that. It was tough for me to adjust to that when I first got here, playing with somebody like Bron's caliber. Because I was so used to, okay, here, get the ball AD, now we figure it out. And Bron used to having the ball in his hands, and so is Russ. And so when you try to get out of each other's way, it takes time. And we didn't have a lot of that time because, either I was out or he was out, or Bron was out. And so a lot of the blame isn't directed towards Russ. And he got a lot of that this year from the fans and from the media.